There are some who say it is much easier for a man to say, "I'm the boss," than it is for a woman. Sheryl Sandberg, the COO of Facebook, has started a movement to stop referring to female bosses as bossy. Careful viewers of Sun News will note that I've been thrown out of my usual position by three Miss Bossy Pants over at the table. So, Marissa, what's going on here?
Well, essentially, the CEO of Facebook, and she's actually gathered, a few celebrities, Beyonce, Condoleezza Rice, to put together this campaign to ban the word bossy. I think they would have been more effective in getting a bunch of women together and talk about how being called bossy really isn't that big of a deal. Quite frankly, women are fiercely independent. We carry babies for 9 months. We're CEOs of companies, and I think we can take being called bossy.
Well, my perspective on this is why would this campaign need to be paid for at all? I mean, how much did this campaign cost? Couldn't this money have actually gone to something worthwhile? For example, putting money towards actually helping young individuals, young women, in math and science. There's lots of courses around that. Actually helping young people who can't pursue post-secondary education. Why do they have to actually pursue this?
Especially in light of the fact that there are fewer men attending post-secondary education. Women are outperforming boys in the workplace. I think the gender disparity in schools has less to do with girls being called bossy and more to do with performance, actually.
But that's what this is really about, right? It's about creating this sort of false gender dichotomy when realistically the gender gap has closed significantly, but they still need something to talk about. They still need to perpetuate the feminism issue, and that's sort of what this is. Being called bossy, not a huge deal, but another, I think, flaw that this campaign really has is saying that being bossy is the same thing as being a leader, and that all women leaders are bossy, and that's just simply not the case.
Yeah, I would prefer that nobody tell me what kind of words I should be choosing, whether it's bossy, whether it's a leader. We have Beyonce, who has pinned herself as part of this campaign. Well, she got ahead because she actually has a good voice. Was she actually bossy in making her way to the top, or was she actually a good singer?
But you make a good point. The campaign itself is kind of bossy. They're telling you what to say and what not to say.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, I don't like the idea that you need to, in order to be a leader, you need to order people around and be assertive. I think that that's kind of a...
my point here is that if you want to be the best in your field and gain credibility, then be the best in your field. Just get down to work, roll up your sleeves and put some elbow grease into being the best. Whether it's the best of all men or best of all women, be the best at what you do, and people will have respect for you.
And
I don't want to get accused of being assertive and bossy here myself, but I just have a question. Is there a whininess to this campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a whininess, and that's sort of what my point was about, they have to perpetuate this feminism issue. They have to say that there is still a problem when really there's a big question, does this problem even exist? And frankly, if there is a problem, bubble wrapping women from a young age is probably not going to be the answer to helping them succeed later in life. Okay, we're going to bubble wrap you in elementary school by stopping the words we can use. We're going to do the same thing right up to your university experience. Then you're going to enter the real world and suddenly not be able to deal with it when people call you bossy, which frankly they will.
And you know what? I think this also buys into the narrative that women are little dainty flowers and can't take, being called bossy. First of all, I've been called bossy since I learned how to talk. I think that, we should stop overprotecting women by campaigns like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I really do think that, as somebody who has been called bossy, the real lesson is to learn how to deal with it. Develop that thick skin, go forward, and frankly, the targets of this campaign are questionable as well. Because frankly, as somebody who has been called bossy, when somebody has called me bossy in my life, I don't wilt. I don't become a wilted flower. Oh, suddenly I'm never going to succeed again. I'm never going. No, I don't care if you call me bossy. I'm probably going to continue to boss you around if that's what the situation is.
Now, I heard that Michelle Obama is now involved in this campaign. What I would have preferred to see, if they were going to throw their money behind some sort of ad campaign, is actually, find a half a dozen or a dozen women who lead businesses in the United States, for example, small, medium-sized businesses, and get them to actually talk about how they made their way to the top.
Yeah, but Rebecca, what are those women doing? They're actually being leaders of companies. They're being the CEOs of those companies. So why would those women partake in a campaign like this?
Well, they might not have time for this kind of campaign,
Yeah.
whether it be useful or not.
Exactly, it's a celebrity show. And I'm sure if you were to look into those realistic businesses, you would see that being bossy does not necessarily mean leadership or success. Not every leader and CEO is a bossy person. Lots of children on the schoolyard are bossy, male and female, and I'm sure teachers, will reprimand children of both genders for being bossy when they are.
Yeah, and why are we going down this path of banning words, certain words, especially words like bossy, which are so not offensive at all? It's very un-American, it's very un-Canadian. Let's allow dictators to do that, not here in this country.
Yeah, I mean, you might want to say, instead of being bossy, be ethical, be accountable, be hardworking, be smart. Not be bossy, because as we all have agreed that, bossy is actually not necessarily a bad word. And, it's a lot of money likely went into this campaign, and it's actually quite questionable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I saw an interesting point made online about this general discussion about the fact that, the Facebook CEO in this case experienced something when she was young, when she was on the schoolyard. She was very offended by somebody telling her friend that people don't like little bossy girls, bossy little girls. She's basically projecting her own experience into this broader issue to perpetuate the feminism issue. Maybe they should all develop a thicker skin.
And anyone who's been on a schoolyard knows that the word bossy is gender neutral. I've called plenty of young little boys bossy. Well, certainly when I was younger, called boys bossy too. So this isn't just a women's issue.
Thanks, ladies. We're going to break here and then go to the news with Beatrice, and I'm going to try to negotiate my way back to the table without appearing to be bossy. So that's all coming up on Straight Talk.